Hey, this is Laura with Branson Cerakote and Applicator Hangout, and I'm here with Andrew and Taylor today. We are so excited to have Taylor because he came to our training, and we found some pretty interesting things out about him. And so we were like,
Good.
"Oh, you want to do a podcast?"
Y'all are way more excited than I am.
Andrew, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Andrew. I'm one of the applicators. I've had the privilege to work with Taylor here for the last 3 days, and he was telling us about how he's a, what do you call it, I guess? I don't
Aerial
know,
firefighter.
an aerial firefighter. But we have some videos and stuff that we're going to watch here in a little bit, and go from there.
You want to tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, so 12 months in a year, 4 months of those, I'm generally in an airplane contracted by BLM or service to fly on fires. I've been based out of Casper for the last 2, and I'll go back to Casper this year. We're an initial attack aircraft is what I fly. It's an Air Tractor 802, and our job is to get there fast. We're generally loaded in about 5 minutes. In the state of Wyoming, from where we're based at in Casper, we can be anywhere in the state in about 45 minutes.
Wow.
For a response time. So it's worked out really well for the state. The state actually pays for that contract, and it's been a good deal. But the other 8 months, and the reason I'm here, I started a gunsmithing business 3 years ago now, and started Cerakoting about a year and a half ago. And I figured I actually probably should learn how to do this the correct way. So I came down here to Branson Cerakote, and it's just been a ball. You guys are amazing. It's Andrew, been awesome, dude.
Appreciate it.
But everybody here, the hospitality is just, it was an amazing experience, and I can't say thank you enough. Beyond just the training, but it's just been a great place to be.
So what did you notice about Taylor's abilities when he got here? Was he doing really good?
We have to go over that. Come on now.
He was doing good, but didn't you say you were spraying like 9 mils on a pistol?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, I was. Yeah, maybe I was getting a little thin. Maybe it was a little thick. I don't know.
I think we got him dialed in now. He's doing good.
Yeah.
Well, and you did some pretty amazing projects here.
Yeah, I've the more I've done, and that's actually why I came to y'all, is because it was actually an alternative for me to, because I do full restorations and bluing and stuff, and some of these guns need a different way, and you can't re-blue them, or the customer doesn't want it re-blued and wants a different look. So I looked at Cerakote again about 2 years ago now, and it just offered a lot of advantages for durability, and honestly, that's where I started from, was just a durability and a corrosive preventative. Just doing one coats on guys that just wanted something a little bit different, and it's kind of evolved, and friends were saying, hey, can you do this, and hey, can you do that? And I'm like, I know there's people that can, I don't know that I can. And I've talked to John several times on the phone. I talk to many people a day, and I know he doesn't remember it, but and this goes back a year better now, and I've just had some crazy people, or not crazy people, but crazy ideas come from people, and I was like, I probably need to go down here, and there's some techniques and stuff that y'all have taught me that just, my stress level is going to be way further down.
Oh, that's
Oh,
good.
yeah, that's the big thing.
Now knowing that you don't have to
Oh,
rush
my
through everything,
gosh.
you
Yeah.
just go 1,000 miles an hour.
You have no idea, man. I was trying to tack this stuff out and get stencils off with gloves on and try to get it back in the oven in 15 minutes. And I'm like, how do they do it down there? So
Oh.
to be able to rewind, I mean, it's been a really good deal. And Andrew and I were able to punch out some pretty neat projects for the leagues.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm going to hold them up, and
Yeah,
then you can
go
talk
for it.
about them. So what exactly is this?
That's a carbon fiber stock that I Cerakoted once already, and I hated the pattern that I put in there. And then we shot Gap camo with custom color, stealth gray, and battleship gray is the main tone there. That's
Color
our
here.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's really nice, and it's a
Yeah.
nice color between the two of them.
Yeah, the contrast, and that was what I kind of wanted. I wanted it's almost like an urban colors, but I wanted a little bit different. Yeah, and that's going to go on a precision build, a 7mm 08 that I'm going to build. That'll have a Zermatt TL3 action, completely custom action, and then that's going to get a Bart line. I think it's a Bart. Yeah, it's a Bart line. Contour number 4, 1 7/5 twist, carbon fiber barrel. So that will be a.
Just like, yeah, I got you.
I know.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. No,
You know
that'll,
better.
that's going to be that will be a great custom gun for Missouri deer hunting. it's real light recoil, so it'll be great for kids. And honestly, that was kind of the direction I was kind of going.
Oh,
with that gun, so.
that's nice. I like the pattern and I
Yeah.
like the colors. I think it's very, very sharp looking.
Yeah, it turned out all right.
Very
I was
clean.
happy with it.
Well, and the Gap camo is really good for projects like this because it does have bigger pieces, so it
Yeah.
works well.
Andrew makes me put a ton of stencils on, and it does look better. But man, picking all those out of projects he's like, keep going. I'm like, are you sure? Keep going. Are you sure? Keep going. All right. And I get it done. I'm like, man, he was right.
Let's see this.
So this came to me. I had a guy. So most of my stuff is born off of somebody's gun isn't functioning correctly. This guy actually had a broke slide stop lever, and he was looking at some of my other stuff at the shop, and he said, "Oh, you Cerakote?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'd like to change the color on that." And I said, "Okay." And he kind of almost walked out the door. And he's like, "Hey, do you know who Andy Van Halen is?" It's like, "Yeah, I know who Van Halen is." Have you ever seen his guitar? And I'll be honest with you, I hadn't. And he's like, "Have you ever seen Frankenstein?" So he pulled up a picture. He's like, "You think I can do that, or you could do that?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not? You know,
Right.
why not?" So I'm fortunate enough that my wife is a graphic designer by nature, and she has a Cricut and can cut stencils and stuff out. So I was like, "What do you think about this?" And she was able to cut some stencils, and Bailey ended up having to reverse engineer some of that, but we got it down, and it turned out pretty nice. Black, red, and white, and straight, and kind of just random lines. And
I think it looks cool.
I do too.
It-
I like it.
Kind of like this abstract, like just,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it looks really good.
Yeah.
you like the abstract stuff.
Yeah.
Your brain can go there. Mine really can. I'm kind of a
I try to think outside the box.
yeah designer in you. And then I got a really good friend of mine that called up and wanted matching pistols for his wife and mother-in-law, which I thought he was really brave to want one for his mother-in-law. I was like, man, that's impressive. Cheetah or leopard print faded into this is RAL 8000 and then into the white, and then we clear coated it, and then all the accessories except for the barrel are rose gold. So really cool
Nice.
Yeah,
project.
it's gonna look really good.
Well, I like how because we've had several different versions of leopard come through,
Oh yeah.
like a lot of them. I've
Nice.
never seen one faded down to that, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
I
Show
would
us
have
a picture of it.
Yeah, I would have never have thought the RAL would actually be that pretty on a gun like that. It's
I think it
really
looks
sharp.
great.
Yeah, it does look good.
And then I mean, this is pretty straightforward Night Force scope, although we did figure out some ways to make life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Some of y'all's methods for Cerakote and a scope. This will go on a custom build as well. This is going to be on a 308 with a Macmillan stock. Again, a Zermatt action, and this is actually going to have I think it's a Brooks M24 taper with a 1-in-7 twist 308. So this is going to be like a sniper kind of.
Oh,
I get a lot of requests for that type of thing, and I kind of wanted to have one in my shop. And Whitetail's Unlimited banquet for the chapter of Missouri's coming up, and I always donate.
oh.
Last year I donated a 6.5 or 6 Creedmoor
Nice.
custom build, completely custom build, and this year I'm donating a certificate for a custom build, so that somebody can actually pick out what they want. But I wanted to have some projects to actually go to the show. Last year they had it real late just because of COVID and
Mhm.
had to change some stuff up. But it'll be January 8th this year, so I'll be at there and showing off some of the stuff that I do, and then helping sponsor that as well.
Cool.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I know how much it meant to me being a kid and getting outdoors and anything
Right.
to help.
Get more kids out.
Yep.
I took Whitmore this year with his first year hunting, so
Yeah.
that was neat.
Yeah, and honestly, anymore for me, a kid kills their first deer. That's more exciting than me.
Exactly,
getting
that's the way
one.
I
Yeah,
am.
yeah.
Yep.
I get that for sure. So
I do have a quick question.
yes, ma'am.
Was that the first slide you've ever Cerakoted, or did you attempt Cerakoting slides before this?
On
In the
this,
scope.
I mean, the scope.
Oh,
Yeah,
scope.
on the scope.
actually, I have. I've done 2. None of them of this value. My very first one was it's a BSA. It was just a BSA that I kind of wanted to practice on just to see, and then I did a Nikon.
Okay.
And I was trying to do some stuff that I was really trying to get everything Cerakoted, and I realized that wasn't going to happen. You got to kind of be real with what you can do as
Mhm.
far as getting the right abrasive texture that you need on there to get that Cerakote to look right. And what I was doing wasn't going to work, so I'm glad I wasn't on a customer.
Well, I had asked because we actually get a lot of questions. People email us about scopes,
I'm
and then
sure.
so I was like, "Had you done one before or not?" Because I was curious.
No, the ones that I have done were based off of what John in his videos on YouTube showed. I mean, I pulled a lot of information from that man prior to even coming here.
You find those pretty helpful?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy just starting out, I started 2 years ago, so I felt like I had the basic process, which I was really close to it. I mean, there's a lot of things I needed to tweak, but just the basics, I kind of felt like I was pretty comfortable with. But the tricks that I learned here and how to go about and how much, like I said, can slow the pace of everything down and really making sure everything was right. That's where that was the biggest takeaway for me is that kind of stuff. And then a lot of the little tricks y'all use for textures and stuff like that.
Right.
It's pretty neat. It's
Well,
definitely worth it.
And we do talk a lot about workflow. Like
Yeah.
the training isn't just about how to spray. It's kind of a little more,
How do you run
involved.
a
Like,
shop?
yeah, if you have a shop, how do you get all these
Yeah.
projects done at one time and kind of manage it? And the guys are really good about here's the real world how it works.
Yeah, and that was the very first day. Andrew's like, all right, we got this and this done, and we're doing this and this and this. And I was like, all right, where are we at? And he's like, all right, we're doing this. I had no idea. Today, I was actually fairly capable of keeping up
Yeah.
with what we had going on. Granted, we were probably about half as busy as we have the other 2 days.
No, today was a good day.
No, and normally, I have to admit, my shop, when I'm doing Cerakote, all the other projects stop, and I have to
Sure.
focus on Cerakote because my bluing room and my Cerakote room are both the same thing. So I kind of have to switch out a couple of things because of the ventilation and everything.
Sure.
So I have a couple of projects lined out. It's not near like what y'all do with y'all's workflow and how you've got going on. Although I have figured out that there's some things about tacking out that's probably going to have to change a little bit, especially with the receiver on the lever action that we did.
Yeah.
Getting that gassed out correctly.
Yeah.
I had
thing.
no idea that was going to be that late because I thought I cleaned the gun. But I did learn on my custom stuff, I'm just going to leave it as clean as a whistle when I put it together, and I won't have that problem. So
Yeah.
again, learn something else about another
Oh,
facet.
there you go.
It's been a learning experience, but it's been a lot of fun. It
Oh.
really has been a great.
Well,
week.
we have like really enjoyed you, and it's funny because you got to see John and I. We kind of bicker back and forth, and I'm like, so sorry you have to see this, Taylor.
Oh, absolutely not. Me and my wife love each other. If you don't think we go back and forth, you're crazy. I think every marriage is like that.
Oh yeah.
You've got kids and you're married. That's just the way life is. And if it isn't going back and forth, you probably need to reevaluate something. To be honest with you. Maybe I'll leave it at that. So,
The bear every once.
but I will say, my wife, my little girl are so supportive of everything I do.
Nice.
I have to give them a shout out because they love what I do and they come out and visit. And she supported me to come out here and do this kind of stuff and be home with the kids. And it can be
awesome.
challenging for her. I know it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot more difficult to stay at home and
Oh,
and
man,
do
I
all of
know.
that than this. I get off easy sometimes. So
I was a stay-at-home dad while Christy was in nursing school. So for like the first year or so, it was just me and Trin. Just that was it. She would go to school and then go to work.
yep.
It was
You
a lot. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't regret it. Like I
No,
loved it. Like it was
no.
the greatest time ever. But it can be a lot.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Yeah. So I'm blessed. And like I said, they get to come out and visit me when we get to go to some really, I mean, I've flown in every single state in the country, just about. Some of the Northeast, which I don't care if I get up there or not. Pennsylvania was enough for me this year. We did a big contract up there this year in the springtime. That was enough. But, we end up in some of those gorgeous parts of the country that there are. So my little girl gets to see a lot at the age she is. She's already been around the country quite a bit. So
pretty neat.
That
It-
You
is
get to
it
go up the
is.
plane. Get to go up in the plane with you.
No, so when we're on contract, it's a restricted category aircraft. So
Okay.
even like Forest Service personnel, BLM, state people, they can't even go with us.
Really?
Oh wow.
Well, and most of our aircraft are only single seat anyway.
Okay.
The one I fly, it happens to be a tandem because I'm actually a flight instructor as well.
Okay.
So being carded with the Department of Interior, which is who we fly under, I can actually train people how to do it, and they can ride in the back or ride in the front, and I can walk them through some of that. So my boss and the owner of the company I fly for puts me in a tandem for that reason. But yeah, we can't take anybody up when we're on contract. That's a big no.
Okay.
And we wish we could because
Yeah. Right.
it would give a perspective to a lot of people that don't really understand, and it's hard to explain. It really is, but we love what we do, and we try to do a really good job for people. Even this fire that we'll see here in just a little bit, this is a little bitty fire. In that particular year, they caught it, and they did a really good job of getting in front of it. But there's a senator's home up in this canyon that's probably a couple hundred yards away from where I drop retardant. We had no idea it was there. we saw the fire pop. We launched. We got there. Those guys on the ground kind of told us what they needed, and that's what happens. Air attack above us was relaying all that, and we just needed to stop it from going up the canyon because that canyon right there actually has a major highway that runs in and out of it. And if you got up on top, the only way out is kind of on the backside out of a gravel road. So if that actually took off, that was going to be a big problem.
Oh, wow.
So it doesn't look like much of a fire, but that was one of the ones they were like, if this had got out of hand, it could have been a big deal. So, and from my perspective, we're going to do the same job that it's one house out there by itself, or if it's a senator's home, it doesn't matter to us. We're going to fight the fire and put it out as best we can.
Well, let's play the video. Whitmore, can you play it?
I'm kind of just lining up on my line. You kind of see me twisting, and then.
How do you know when to drop it?
So I was looking at the road, that little road right there that I flew over the top, and I knew where the fire line was. And then this is a different perspective. This is one of my friends down here on the fire line. So you get the perspective of how far I was down in that canyon and turning out.
You get down there pretty low, don't you?
Well, we're dropping anywhere from 60 to 80 feet typically. The terrain allowed for that on that drop.
You ever had any accidents?
You would ask that.
I already know the answer.
Oh, I know. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I have tore up an airplane. I crop dusted for 10 years prior to this, and I've been through some wires, and in 2016, I believe, I landed in thermal, basically a tornado that I couldn't see, and it picked my airplane up, and it was kind of a Jesus take the wheel moment for me. I've got quite a bit of time in these aircraft, and I tell you what, I had zero control over what happened next, and it did pretty significant damage to the airframe, and walked away from it. Was totally fine. The engine was still running. As a matter of fact, I had to shut the whole engine down. And
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, not my finest moment for sure.
Well, like, did you swirl? Did you?
Yeah, my plane went 90 degrees to the runway faster than you can blink, and actually it already had all three wheels on the ground. Like, I was actually on the rollout, and it just 360, and I was gone. And I actually would have been okay, but the left front main got off in the gravel, and when it did, it departed the aircraft. And,
Oh my gosh.
and it wasn't that.
Were you terrified?
No, I was more honestly just really frustrated and upset.
That
I mean,
it
I
just
really,
happened.
I was so mad that you can't. I mean, it's one of those things like I just tore up my boss's very expensive aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
B, I just crashed an airplane and I'm on a Department of Interior contract, so I'm fixing to go through the ringer.
Right.
It's not a fun, pleasant experience, and yeah, now I'm the director of safety at our company that I work for.
What
Oh.
not to do.
But yeah, well, I'm a great example of that. I've always told myself that. I'm a great example of what not to do. But being the director of safety and getting these guys to understand, like, you have an accident or something bad does happen, social media stuff, you just got to stay off of it. I had to get the guy that I was actually flying with when I crashed my airplane taxi past me. It was video recording me going through all of that and people showing up and all that. And I was like, come on, man, don't
Oh,
do that.
wow.
Yeah, it's not cool. That part of it was not fun. Very good learning experience, though. Don't
Yeah.
recommend it.
Oh my gosh. So when you drop that retardant, how far does it spread out?
So we have what's called coverage levels, and it depends on the firefighter's needs. Like if we're in a grass fire, we'll dial it way down because we can draw a line half-mile long.
Mm-hmm.
If we're in real heavy timber and we're trying to put out a spot fire, we can dial it all the way up to our max coverage level 6. And I mean, that's basically like a ball of retardant. It's enough to fill up the back of a truck, basically, is all it is.
Okay.
And that's the same for the heavy tankers. They can draw a long line or they can dial it back and, put real concentrated areas, just depending on what the guys on the ground need. So the guys on the ground are talking to our air TAC's talking to us, and that's how it gets relayed to us what the needs are. We're just up there providing a service. We don't put fire out.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big misconception. When we drop retardant, all we're doing is giving the guys on the ground enough time to get to where that fire line is, start laying hose, and start actually putting the fire out. It doesn't matter how good a line you lay, generally speaking, with retardant. If it lays there with no backup and no water on it, fire will chew through retardant.
Oh,
It's just
wow.
it's going to creep underneath it. If it's got the fuels to go over it, it'll go over it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not out there to put fire out. We're out there to give the guys on the ground a chance to catch the fire. So,
Gotcha. I guess I didn't realize that.
No, didn't either. I thought he was too. I thought
Yeah.
they were actually putting it out.
and we can to a certain extent. And when we get into real rough terrain, we'll go. We might do 6 drops with heavy tankers up in some real steep terrain where guys just can't get to.
Mm-hmm.
We can absolutely. I mean, you put enough retardant to fill a swimming pool. It's gonna.
Gonna do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if we do that and the fire still jumps the line, you're talking about a major incident. So there's that kind of the need, like if you go to a Type 1 team, which is the biggest type of fire you deal with, the ones you see on California, out in
Mhm.
California typically. If you get to that point, it's not about trying to put the fire out there. They're building dozer line and
They're
fire
trying to get
line
way ahead of
miles
it.
away from where the fire is. They're trying to get way ahead of it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a completely different fire tactic at that
Sure.
point.
Sure.
Still use the same tools, just a different tactic. So the tool that we fly is an initial attack. Try to keep small fires small. That's what we're there to do.
So how did you go from crop dusting to fighting fires?
Well, honestly, it wasn't that big a leap. The plane that I crop dusted in for 6 years, I was in different planes prior to that, is the same plane we use for firefighting on initial attack side of things.
Okay.
It's the Air Tractor 802. It's still the initial air attack aircraft chosen out there. There's probably, we say there's about 100 pilots in the country that do what I do.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not many.
No,
No.
it's not. It's more of it's a very hard thing to get into. You have to have the right credentials
Mhm.
to even apply to be on a DOI contract. And generally that background has to come from crop dusting. Well, there's a lot of crop dusters that don't want, or aerial applicators is what they like to be called.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. They like to be
Okay.
called aerial applicators. I was, yeah, that's a whole nother story. I was heavily involved with aerial application in AAA. I was a state representative and all kinds of stuff for that many, many moons ago. But the transition isn't that hard, but you have to have the credentials to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Flying the airplane, you're crop dusting. Flying the airplane is actually the second job you have. The first job you have is the proper application of the chemical to
Oh.
the crop,
Sure.
because that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
And you, as a pilot, you're supposed to fly the airplane first. Well, in crop dusting, it really isn't. You better be able to feel what the airplane's doing without even looking. I don't know how many times people are like, "What airspeed you land at?" I don't know. I just know what the airplane feels like when I'm ready to land. Now I don't, and obviously I do know my airspeeds and stuff. But fast forward, got out of crop dusting, and we're getting ready to have our first kid, our only kid. We're kind of like, what do we want to do? And we moved back to Missouri to be next to my family, my wife's family. And I was kind of like, I could go fight fire. I have the credentials. So, and it's basically licenses is all that really amounts to.
Mm-hmm.
I had the right license to apply for the job, and then I got hired on and never looked back, to be honest with you. And then I realized I needed to find something to do in the off season.
Sure.
So that's where I've been, reloading for many, many, many years. And that kind of ramped up to guys wanting me to do more things, and guys wanting me to do more things. And then pretty soon I'm like, okay, they want me to build a rifle. Okay. So
Do you plan on trying to kind of cut back from fighting fires to just kind of more into the Cerakote and the gun business, or are you going to kind of keep balancing the two out for a while?
the balancing the two out for the foreseeable future for sure. You can't become a master gunsmith until you've got your time in becoming
That's true.
a gunsmith. And I definitely haven't seen anything. That was the first thing I realized when I finally opened my shop up. I was like, oh, okay, I know nothing. I thought I knew something. I know nothing. And so this is kind of like a 10, 15, 20-year plan to where I'm not, I get to spend time at home eventually.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I do. I'm gone for 4 months, but I'm home for 8. It's a big trade-off. Everybody tells my wife, I don't know how you do it. Well, I'm home the rest of the year, and we get to do whatever we want to go do.
Sure.
I mean, we don't have to plan around anything other than my daughter's school.
Right, because she works at home too, right?
Yep, she does. So
Yeah, so that's nice.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's sometimes it's nice.
I work with mine, so she follows me
Yeah.
24/7.
No, well, my shop's down in the basement. It's a full shop. I mean, I do everything down there: my lathe, my mills, all of it. Bluing stations, do all my Cerakote. I've got it all set up. And she works upstairs, and we actually tricked out one of the rooms. She does all our painting downstairs where I do. all my stuff, and she's got all her glitter and everything. And then she goes upstairs where she's got her desk where she can do all her weeding and her stencils and vinyl cut and all that stuff.
There you go.
And then upstairs is where she does all her epoxy running. She's got a station with all these turners and stuff. So yeah,
That's
we've
neat.
got a workstation. It's always something going on, but it's really cool because it's translated into being able to help out with stencils and stuff like that.
Oh,
And-
absolutely.
yeah, and that's been a big help because she's been able to be like, no, you can't do that, but you can do this, and it's been a helpful for sure. So
That's nice.
That is nice.
Yeah.
You did a stock that was it looked like wood
know.
grain, and I'm like, I know that's not our stencil, and you're like, my wife did. I'm like, it's a really nice stencil.
We should
yeah,
have brought that one in here. It looked really good.
yeah, it actually turned out that black we
Yeah.
shot on it. Yeah,
That turned
looks
out
like-
really, really good.
Yeah, I'm really happy with. I brought in a lot of work when I showed up because I didn't know what to expect, and we got all of it done.
Yeah, except
Every-
for the one stock.
That was honestly just a reserve
Yeah.
stock. That was like, if we do go through all this somehow, like I've got something else I can do that I'm going
Right.
to need to get done eventually. So, I mean, from my eyes, we got everything done. So,
That's good.
Yeah, I was so stoked.
I
This
think
guy
it all
knows what
turned
he's
out
doing.
great.
Oh yeah,
Really good work.
beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I really like that. The leopard. I think that's one of my favorite ones that came through here so far. I like the gloss black that he put
Mhm.
on it underneath it instead
Yeah.
of just
Yeah.
the armor black or
Mhm.
graphite black.
Mhm.
Better.
Looks good.
Yeah, I'm been a long 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready to sleep
Ready
in
to
my
go.
own bed. This time of year, I typically don't leave the house for very long because I've been gone enough. So
Sure.
Right.
it's
Sure.
but this has been. I mean, I've been so blessed in the trading that I've gone through for. Yeah, the gunsmithing stuff that I've done. I've just been with some incredible people, and then now y'all. I mean, it's been a cool deal.
Cool. Like we tell everybody, after training, if you have questions still, just call us back
Yeah.
up. Glad to help you out.
Well, yeah, and if you're in Branson, just come on by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, spend a day with us or something.
No, and I've actually I was telling Andrew I was gonna stop by here. It's been a month ago now, and the timing just didn't work. We got down here later than we wanted to because of kids and everything on Friday. But I was actually gonna swing in and just meet y'all. And,
Oh yes, we do have people come and just drop in all the time.
yeah,
So,
I hear the
we
door
like it.
ringing back there. Well, y'all are doing some phenomenal stuff, and I mean the following y'all have on YouTube, and I was talking to John earlier. I mean, he does a phenomenal job
Oh,
just
thank you.
walking people through stuff and the things he's got going on. I mean, y'all got a lot on y'all's plate, but it looks like it's.
But we've got the crew to help us.
Yeah,
we
you
couldn't
really
do
do.
it without the people that we have.
And I was telling Andrew that, telling John too. I mean, like the cohesion around here is phenomenal. I've been around a lot of places, and generally you don't get that. And here, y'all, you really are lucky that everybody kind of gets along the way they do. Y'all are fortunate in that.
Oh,
respect,
yes.
for sure.
Absolutely.
And it makes a difference when somebody like me shows up. You don't feel all this tension, and it's just like it was just a flow. Let's
It
get
was
to
like
it.
it went good.
Yeah, it really
Really
was.
good.
I was pleasantly surprised because I'm like, I keep getting really lucky with this stuff. At some point, I'm gonna be like, this is not what I thought. And no,
No, man.
yeah, it's been great. I was fortunate to get paired up with Andrew too. Zach's a great guy. I met him on the second day. His ribs were bothering him, so
Yeah, he took it-
I
he took
laughed
a
at
hit.
him a couple of times. I didn't even know I was looking at him. I look up and he goes, huh, huh.
Oh.
And I'm like, I feel sorry for you, dude.
Yeah. Heard
Ah.
his cough back there. He's-
Yeah.
Yeah, he did it in hockey.
Yeah.
So
That's what he gets for playing hockey in
That's
Missouri.
right.
Yeah. There ain't even no ice around here.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I didn't even know Missouri had top hockey teams. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't watch hockey, so I couldn't tell you.
I played
I
pond
agree.
hockey in Montana growing up, but that was a whole different story.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we really appreciate you. You're done with your training, and this is actually the third day. You're staying late, and you still have a
Yeah.
drive ahead of you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your YouTube stuff. And we're going to put a thing on the bottom with your YouTube channel because your videos are amazing. I
What
mean,
is-
they
what
are
is your
literally
YouTube channel
amazing.
name?
It's
So people can find you.
JT Highspeed Productions. Highspeed is one word, Productions is second, and then it's got my logo for my gunsmith, and it's CPGW in a circle with some crosshairs. So
Yeah, so we'll put all that so people can link to it and
So-
everything. And subscribe to your channel.
yes, please
Yes.
subscribe to my
Yes.
channel. I'm gonna start doing some gunsmithing stuff and some Cerakoting and kind of walking people through.
You're gonna put all that on the same channel.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Just
Along-
to pull it all together,
Yeah.
and this is kind of what my year looks like.
Right.
I've already got some video. I've just been struggling with how I want to do it. On my own worst enemy there, and so I'm gonna be putting some stuff up. And the JT Taylor thing, if anybody's wondering, when I got hired for my first crop dusting job, I told the gentleman that was hiring me my full name. He's like, "We're going to call you JT." And he could have called me a lot worse, and I've been like, "I don't care what you call me, as long as you hire me. I need a job. I need a flying job right now." So it kind of stuck.
Mhm.
And in the aviation world, everybody calls me JT when I'm home. All my family, I'm Taylor. So I have aliases.
Oh
Gotcha.
boy.
Yeah. It's kind of neat. I've got an
Yeah.
alias. You know, there's boxes on forms like any alias, and I'm like, as a matter of fact, I can check that box. I'm waiting on them call. We caught the tater.
Yeah, there you go. Around here, my nickname is Stitches because I get cut so much.
Yeah, I think your sister's a little bit more accident prone than you are, though.
I think she could be.
I think she is. Yeah, I think you got lucky on that one.
I've kind of started to like maybe push the bad juju away, and maybe it's like
That's
going to
good.
her.
You did good this week.
I know.
I'm the one that sprayed air into a tank full of water or acetone and
acetone.
paint. Yeah, the
Oh.
acetone and paint. That was a good call. It's late. I was tired. Leave me alone.
There you go.
And actually, Zach, he cut himself with the X-Acto a few times. So,
Yeah, so
yeah,
Sam,
see, you
I'm
did
pushing
good.
the bad luck away. You know?
There you
I'm
go.
done with it.
Yeah, you slow down. That's a
Yeah.
good thing.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the way to be.
Oh, funny.
Well, we appreciate you coming out, and I had a blast this week with you. I really did. I had a lot of fun.
It's been a great time. I told my wife last night. I'm fortunate. This has been a great experience for me.
Just
Good.
be ready because it's gonna pop in on you one day. We're just gonna shoot on down there and see how you're doing.
Yeah, y'all are welcome anytime. Y'all really are. We got
Awesome.
room.
That'll be cool.
Yep. I'm around the fire pit most nights. If it ain't too windy, it ain't too cold. So
I can do that.
that's where I'm at. Trying to relax in the off season. But Laura, thank you so
Oh
much.
no, thank you. We're just so pleased that you came, and training's always fun.
It
We
is.
always have a really good time, and you meet people and you network. And John and I are always like, it's amazing how much we learn from other people.
Yeah.
Like every single
they,
person
they
who's
think
been
they're
here.
coming here to learn something, but everybody teaches us something every time.
Yeah.
Every
Like
I can see
every
that.
week we learn something new.
Yeah.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah, so it's wonderful.
It is. I like it.
So, all right, well, thank you, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Thanks.
y'all.
Hey.
Bye.
Appreciate it.